Okay, this is Renata again, Renata Jones, and I would like to do an update on my new design. On the 18th of August, after having reviewed, after having seen an online article where a competition was put out to assist young women in developing countries and come up with new ways to better maintain their hygiene in terms of their monthly cycle and the challenges that they faced. For poor marginalized groups of women in developing countries. One of the things that I learned is that there's a huge taboo, and rightfully so in many ways, about women during their menstrual cycle. These taboos revolve around the fact that during that menstrual cycle, because hygiene laws, modern hygiene techniques and laws are not applied to a lot of rural areas in developing communities, women become marginalized. Now, and rightfully so, we're dealing with the issue of blood, and we're dealing with the issue of properly containing blood, which can be highly diseased and can cause major illness. So a lot of the fear surrounding women and their monthly cycle has to do with the fact that there is a knowledge that blood can be diseased, and precaution must be made at all times not to come in contact with blood splatter. The second challenge that women face in third world countries is that a modern feminine napkin is out of the budget of someone in a developing country. Modern feminine napkin may cost 60 cents, but 60 cents may be a monthly salary for some of these people if they're dealing in currency, they're dealing in money. So that poses another threat, another risk, another factor that hinders women from having a standard of hygiene that is akin to the 21st century. The third challenge is that their economic power is reduced substantially during that time. Women cannot go to work, they cannot go to school, they cannot labor, they can't cook, they can't do anything. And we all know that in developing countries, the backbone of every type of economic system is not so much the man, but it's the woman, because the women put that resource back into developing the family. So I got to thinking, and I said to myself, okay, they can't afford to buy feminine napkins. If you're dealing in a situation where it's a rural community, what kind of materials would be common in a rural community, number one? Number two, do they have access to these materials? Number two, is it safe? Number three, and is it something that can be made? Number four, and is it something that would allow them the process of going out there, working, and securing their hygiene? So I was scratching my brain and I said, okay, I have to come up with, and I realized, it also has to revolve around the fact of low maintenance to keep clean. Water and cleaning this is an issue. So after some scratching of my brain, I said, okay, we need something waterproof, but modern waterproof materials are too expensive for someone living in a developing country that don't have access to these things. The number one problem on this planet is plastic, polyurethane, plastic. And one of the most important factors in waste and pollution are plastic bags. Now, I said to myself, what if we can harness these plastic bags? If we can clean these plastic bags, we can dry these plastic bags, and we can convert these plastic bags into crocheted menstrual underwear made from recycled plastic bags. Now, some may be repulsed by this idea, but I've tested it. And I braided one strand of a plastic bag into a braid, and I ran it along my wrist to see, because again, that area would be sensitive. I ran it along my wrist to see, okay, would it cause, irritation? Would there be allergies? And it was actually very smooth. We would also line that plastic bag. So anyway, this is the design I came up with. And I'll quickly explain it to you. This is the front, this is the back, and this is what it looks like on the inside. The reason why I did not do closed ends, I did one closed and one open, because if we're dealing with different shapes, we want to be able to get a basic one size fits all kind of thing, or at most 2 or 3 sizes if we're dealing with different sizes. I chose the history of thongs are a long history. Thongs are not new. So I chose a basic thong design, because when we look at the rural tribes, this design is a tribal design. So, and I decided, since there's a long history of using thongs, why not apply the same history to this? Then I decided, okay, let's do one side that's closed and then an open side. Why? I did this because we want to be able to get as many sizes with the least amount of design changes as possible. And if you take a closer look on the inside, you see that there are wings. That's also crocheted using the plastic bag. And the wings have little strands of plastic that tie at the bottom. Now, some may be repulsed at the idea. However, if you were to take this, a woman can then apply any type of cloth over this here, and then use this to firmly secure that cloth in place. The problem that we have here is that a lot of women in rural communities don't have a basic secure garment to hold their menstrual cloth. The second problem that we have is, if they do, there's lack of water to wash the cloth. The third problem is there's a taboo, and rightfully so, there's a taboo of seeing a woman's menstrual cloth. These are private issues. Okay? So I attempted to solve that by creating this crocheted menstrual underwear using recycled plastic materials. Okay? So again, we have a waterproof design that uses little water to clean, and sunlight, because sun, that heat destroys almost all of the bacteria. When it's allowed, it really can't really thrive in an aerobic environment. Viruses can't thrive in an aerobic environment. I hope I said that correctly. They tend to die. Okay, thank God. Anyway, so it uses minimal water to clean and sunlight. It allows the woman to have a firm holding on her menstrual cloth, okay, on a menstrual cloth or anything that can absorb the flow. Anything that can absorb the flow, but we want something that can be removed and washed and cleaned and maintained. So again, with women who are from the developing countries that don't have access to modern hygiene sanitary products, and it hinders them their economic power, because they can't go to school and they can't work. And we can solve that problem by introducing the crocheted menstrual underwear made from recycled plastic bags. Okay? Thank you, and that's it.